What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel video. Please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when live stream pops drops. Also share this out too. So I don't do a lot of Yankee videos, and that's on me because it looks to the public as if I'm doing this just for views, just for clicks, you know, the rants and all that shit. But that's not the case. We do cover the Yankees on Boys in the Big Apple, which is a weekly show on Mondays at 8:10. We go over the positive and negative, and yeah, I should do a little bit more positive videos when the Yankees are actually doing well, which is unlike the case we have in front of us, the New York Yankees. In my opinion, they're collapsing very, very slowly. I referred to them in my latest YouTube short as the New York Aaron Judges, because guess what? Without Aaron Judge, the Yankees, according to my buddy Christian of NYYST, are on pace to win 69 games. Now, Aaron Judge is not going to be out the entire year. At least we hope not, but that doesn't look good at all. I believe the Yankees are hitting 188 or something without Aaron Judge. Not very good, too. So let's set the boundaries, or let's just set the stage, better yet, right? So in the month of June, the Yankees won a series against the Dodgers out in LA, give credit. They lost a series to the White Sox. The White Sox are second to last place in the AL Central. Now, it's very hard to do that because the AL Central is garbage, okay? So you have the Twins exactly at 500. Then you got the Guardians, Tigers, White Sox, who are still in the race somewhat because that division is so terrible. And then you have the Royals, who are just completely tanking. So, yeah, it is a little hard to be in second to last place. And the Yankees lost to that team. And keep going. Red Sox, right? 37 and 35. Only 2 games over 500. We lost 2 series to them in June. We lost the one after the White Sox series, right? At Yankee Stadium. Have an off day. We win against the Mets. A game we really shouldn't have because Sevy blew up. Shocker. But somehow a comedy of errors struck, and the Yankees were just a tad bit better than the New York Mets. And then the next game, the Yankees do not do anything, right? And the Yankees lose to the Mets, who just lost to the second worst team in the National League in the St. Louis Cardinals. So just bear that in mind, will you? And then, this weekend, we saw it. The Boston Red Sox swept us with a broom and a dustpan. Now, you could argue what advantage to what side because of the rain delay and the rain out, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and build in excuses, the what ifs, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. That's really the, I would say, epitome or the microcosm, whatever you want to call it, of the Yankees season. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If this, if that, if this, if that, but this. No, I'm done with the excuses. The Yankees are in third place in the division right now. They're 39 and 33. At one point, they were 6.5 to 5.5 games back. Right now, they're 10.5 behind the Orioles and the Rays, and that seems like a constant. Right now, if the Jays take what it looks like to be the next 2 games against whoever the hell their opponent is, they could be jumping us because we have the off day, Monday, and then Tuesday, we go out and play the Mariners. Now, obviously, we beat the Mariners before, but we lost to the Red Sox just now. We lost the game to the Mets, who lost the game to the Cardinals. We lost a series to the goddamn White Sox. So, before we get into the payroll, which is a whole friggin' shit show, let's talk about what we already know, besides what I talked about. Aaron Boone. We know he's a buffoon. Most Yankee fans, or at least I would hope most Yankee fans, know that this guy is a patsy manager. He is a puppet. Obviously got re-signed after 2021 when usually managers would not get re-signed after losing in the wild card to your biggest divisional rival and a very sloppy season. I think we can all agree on that, right? So last year they have this great start, and then the second half, I think they went under 500. It was 35 and 33 or 33 and 35, whatever. And we win barely against the Cleveland Guardians, and then we get swept by the Astros. So obviously, the Astros are kryptonite. They have been for years. The Yankees have not found ways to beat them because they cannot hit in the playoffs, and they can't do anything in the playoffs, it seems, correctly against the Houston Astros, whatever. So we come back. The Yankees don't make a lot of moves in the offseason. They re-sign Aaron Judge, which is something they should have done Anthony Rizzo came back, and we signed Carlos Rodon, which we'll get to, in a couple of minutes. And, it seemed like things were coming together first part of the year, and boom, when Aaron Judge comes out, this whole team collapses. And the thing with Aaron Boone is you kind of have to overspend if you're the Yankees. Now, obviously, Yankee fans with the expectation of World Series or bust, you kind of want to have that salary and the payroll high for good players. Obviously Juan Soto, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. I'm not talking about names for the Yankees. I'm just talking, the general players that certain Yankee fans would want. But in this case, I've said it for years now, Aaron Boone is not a manager because he's like a game-managing quarterback, right? A very bad one at that, like Baker Mayfield or, some of the other guys that have been in and out of the NFL. They will do enough to win you a game. Actually, no, they'll do enough to keep you in a game, but they won't do anything over the top to win you a game. But they also will make very bad mistakes to lose you a game-ending interception, whatever. Aaron Boone never really puts the Yankees in a position to win a game. It's always the players themselves, and it seems really stupid, but you won't see, hey, listen, Aaron Boone just made a good move right there, pinch hitting that guy for that guy, and this, that, and the other thing. No, it's always the bullpen that goes wrong with Aaron Boone. And right now, the bullpen has been decent. I'm not going to say it's been great. It's been full of scrubs. That's what we know. But the offense has been one of the main issues, and I'm going to get into that right now before we get to the payroll, which is an even bigger issue, or just as big of an issue. Dylan Lawson is a useless piece of shit. He is an analytical nerd that's come up from the Yankee system, and it's weird. I'm not going to blame Dylan Lawson for everything. I think he should get fired to kind of show that it's accountability, but the Yankees will never do that. It's a philosophical thing with the New York Yankees. For the last few years, really since Aaron Boone has come in, it's been the home run or bust, the launch angle, the uppercut swings. That's not the way you play baseball. That's Dave Kingman-esque baseball. That's not the way to play, and that's not the way to win. But the Yankees, of course, they have brought in guys. Those certain guys have really fallen off, and then they go elsewhere, and they perform. You can literally have two handfuls of names. Thairo Estrada. How unbelievable it is. I'm going to say the next guy, Aaron Hicks. I think he's hitting like 345 or something with the Baltimore Orioles. Because guess what the Orioles did? They're a second-place team, so they're better than us. And people were like, at the beginning of the year, oh, the Orioles are not better than the Yankees. Yes, they are, because the product is better on the field. I don't care what the talent is. The product is better on the field. What they did is they showed Aaron Hicks some tape about his swing, being flat-footed, whatever, and guess what? He's hitting 345 for them. Giovanni Urshela, now he's on the IL, but he's still doing things, right? It's better than Josh Donaldson. I think we could all agree with that, right? There's a lot of other names I'm going to not go through because I want to make this video as short as possible. So, Dylan Lawson is useless. Now, I said it's philosophical, which is true, because you look at the last, well, actually, no. Let's go back to the minor leagues. When Dylan Lawson was in the minor leagues with these guys, they were hitting rockets. They were hitting line drives. They were hitting really well. Same thing with Marcus Thames. But it all changed when the Yankees hired them as the big league coaches. And obviously it hasn't worked out since then because Mike Fishman and Brian Cashman in the analytics department have stranglehold on the hitting coaches and the philosophy of this team. Gleyber Torres, he is inconsistent. Now, obviously half I blame him because he can be a player that's like on and off mentally on the field with the mental mistakes. He's gotten better this year, I will say that, because he's hitting more opposite field. But in the years past, since like 2020, he was hitting the left field. He's not a pull hitter. That's not the guy he is. DJ LeMahieu. Now, we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about the payroll and some of these different guys, as I mentioned 20 times before. But used to be, at least before 2021, this contact guy. He won a batting title, a few batting titles in the NL. And, the Yankees, when they signed him, or at least re-signed him, like, wow, we got this guy, he's going to be at the top of the order, blah, 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 blah. Well, it seems to have fallen off. Anthony Rizzo is another example, but let's actually just go into the payroll before I keep muttering off. So, the New York Yankees payroll right now is at a total of $281 million per spot track. Well, how much of that payroll is on the injured list? It's $88 million. Now, obviously, you add that up with, I believe it's the 179, or do the math however you guys will, right? But look at the players that are on the IL right now. And this is not necessarily always on the players. It's also on the general manager and the people that scout these players and sign these players or trade for these players. Aaron Judge. Now, that was a freak accident in right field. Aaron Judge is the captain of this team. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's injury prone, this, and the other thing, because he's led this team to places that they would not go without him. Last year, they probably do not go to the playoffs, maybe even a wild card, if he was not on the field and hit 62 home runs and smashed records. So we're going to leave him out of the criticism. Harrison Bader, right? I love the guy. Listen, before he got injured the second time, I was like, hey, listen, the Yankees need a center fielder. They're kind of in that pivot position because they traded for him. They gave away Montgomery. You really don't have a center fielder in the system. Jason Dominguez is more like a corner outfielder. It just, you got to re-sign him. The Yankees cannot re-sign him now. He is a walking hospital. And listen, when he's on the field, he's healthy. But it seems like now he's more off the field than he is on the field. And that's not good at all when $88 million is on the injured list. And you could literally write up a couple of player names that could fit into $88 million. That would help this club a little bit more than some of the guys on here. I'm not saying Aaron Judge, but let's go to Jonathan Loaizaga. 60-day IL. Loaizaga has fallen off as a reliever the last few years. Don't know what happened. I thought he was going to be the closer in 22. Obviously not when he started blowing games. Carlos Rodon. Now, people will throw out there the escapade and the excuse, oh, the Yankee fans wanted Carlos Rodon. Well, of course we did, because you want a 1-2 punch with Gerrit Cole. At the end of the day, that's the move that the Yankees want. But guess what? Guys in the analytics department, the guys in the scouting department, Brian Cashman, Mike Fishman, they're supposed to be smarter than us. And they're supposed to know the stuff that we don't know, the medicals, some of the advanced analytics that we may not calculate. This, that, and the other thing. The durability. Well, guess what? We have not seen Rodon pitch in a game since spring training, and I don't know if we're ever going to see him pitch this year. Next guy, Frankie Montas. Absolutely garbage with the Yankees last year. Everyone was going to hype him up. Oh, well, he's going to come back this year. He's going to come back better than ever this year. Well, we have yet to see him. And I'm not going to sit here and say this, that, and the other thing. Oh, we should have gotten Waldich. I mean, actually, it may have helped, depending on how the Yankees would have treated those guys. J.P. Sears right now is doing really well for the A's. You have Luis Medina and Ken Waldichuk. I believe Waldichuk isn't doing that well. And Medina, I'm not sure. But I know J.P. Sears is doing well, and he was doing really well with the Yankees. Really well before he got traded. So the Yankees just washed that off the plate, and they only really have one reliable lefty reliever in the bullpen, and that is Wandy Peralta. Lou Trevino, also in a trade with the A's. Guess what? We haven't seen him. And there's speculation that he might need TJ, Tommy John. So I don't expect to see him this year. That's part of that $88 million. So I think we covered the bases on the most part. Judge, who I really don't blame, again, because he carries the team when he's on the field. Bader, who I have somewhat of a soft spot for. It doesn't look good right now. Oh, Nestor Cortez as well. And listen, I'm all for, trash talk and this, that, and the other thing. It's all fun and games, right? You're supposed to have fun at the end of the day. But Nestor Cortez comes out and says this a few weeks ago before we faced Boston. It doesn't feel like what we have with Tampa or Toronto. You could argue that the Red Sox haven't been who they really are the last few years. So he's basically saying they haven't been relevant. Well, let's see. The Yankees, at their own standards, haven't been themselves either, because they have been lowering the bar each year, and more fans have become accepting of it. And Cortez shouldn't talk to, him personally. He is 5-2. That's a good record to have. 5.16 ERA, 59 strikeouts, 6.50 ERA in the last 7 starts, opposing batting average at .253. I mean, compared to the prior 2 years, he is totally off his mark. So, to be completely fair, he shouldn't be talking. He's on the IL now, of course. Now, I know that Bader's supposed to come back for the series against Seattle. It looks like on Tuesday. We don't know where Judge is. in terms of his rehab. Boone says he's getting better every day. Loaizaga, don't know where he is. Rodon, he's supposed to be starting some sort of a simulated throwing session, live BP sometime soon. Don't know where Trevino is. I think he's in La La Land. And yeah, again, some of these other guys don't know where they are. So let's get into the other big contracts that guys are currently active. DJ LeMahieu, about $15 million per year. And he's completely fallen off the last few years, right? 232 batting average this year, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs. 232 for DJ LeMahieu. If I told you 2 years ago that DJ LeMahieu would be hitting 232 for the New York Yankees, you'd probably go tell me to F myself. Last 7 games, 208. Last 15 games, 179. Last 30, 186. That is awful for DJ LeMahieu. Awful. I don't know what it is. The Yankees' philosophy, his toe hurting him again, whatever it is, it's not helping. And it's not worth $15 million per. Now, I'm going to lay off the next guy a little bit because he had a really hot start. He was hitting like 320, around 300. Anthony Rizzo, $17 million per year. 262 right now, which is pretty good. It's in his territory, but considering the drop-off he had, beginning of the year was near all-star, 11 home runs, 36 RBIs, and now in the last 7 games, 120 with no home runs, 4 RBIs. In the last 15, 109, and in the last 30, 222. That is not $17 million worthy. Once again, I'm laying off him just a little bit because Anthony Rizzo has been there for us the last few years. Now, I don't like his comments of late. Not going to lie to you. Because he said the following things after the game. There's 30 teams in baseball right now that don't have Aaron Judge. I don't think it's different for any other team. I know the narrative's without Judge, but I don't think it's fair to put on him or anyone else on this team. So he's basically trying to say the narrative is fake. Here's the thing, Anthony, and I respect you, but let's be completely fair. Let's be completely fair here. The narrative is going to exist until you guys start fucking hitting again. And he also said this. When talks about, getting swept by the Red Sox, it sucks. It's definitely low in the season, but it's part of the ups and downs of a big league season. How about we start going on the ups again? So just some comments I'm not happy with. Josh Donaldson, who we all love. Josh Donaldson, right? 151 batting average. Who the hell on any other baseball team bats 151 and is starting? For $25 million per year other than the Yankees. Guess what? It's only the Yankees. Last 7 games, 136. Let's see. Last 15, 133. Last 30, 151. Great job. Great job, Yankees. Traded for him. IKF, I don't really have too many problems with IKF right now because he's trying. He's got a good attitude. He's going to fit wherever the Yankees try to put him. And then Ben Rordvet, who was good when the Yankees had him up, they didn't play him because they have this attraction to Kyle Higashioka. They send him down, he gets injured again. And just to know, 6 home runs for Donaldson. 8 hits. So he's got only 2 other hits that are not home runs. And the Yankees are, I think, 0-5 in games where he homers. So clearly doesn't help the team. And his defense is not all pro, elite, all-star. It's solid. You could get that somewhere else. Giancarlo Stanton is the last one I'll go through, and then we'll talk about some of the other things in the roster, and we'll get you guys out of here. I know I've been ranting a lot in this video. Giancarlo Stanton, $32 million per year. Now, I personally think that there are 2 sides that are bad sides of the Yankees fan base. The people that overrate him and the people that are hating on him. I get it. I recognize all of the stuff he does when the Yankees go to the playoffs. But we have to get there first. And Giancarlo Stanton is not really playing like a $32 million player right now. 204 batting average, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, 087 in the last 7, 151 in the last 15, and 204 in the last 30. So what does that combine to, you ask? 233 batting average. Now, to be fair, Anthony Rizzo is probably a big portion of that because he's hitting 262. $89 million. Yes, $89 million for unproductivity. Obviously, once again, you could take 17 out of that for Anthony Rizzo. 89 minus 17 equals $72 million. And then you add that to the $88 million that's already on the injured list. I mean, what are we doing with the money here? Apparently $300 million doesn't get you jack shit nowadays. So let's go to the outfielders, right? And I got 2 more segments. Once again, we'll get you guys out of here. 2/3 of the Yankees outfield is on the IL right now. And they've been saying the last few games, we're going to play Stanton in the outfield. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop lying to us. Stop. Bader's about to come off. But before Bader eventually comes off, here's your outfield. Here's your outfielders, right? Billy McKinney, in limited ABs, 286. He hasn't been bad. Willie Calhoun, who is a scrap power hitter just like Jake Bauers is. Both cannot play the outfield for shit. IKF, he's an infielder. He's a third baseman. He is a happy-go-lucky guy. He's the type of guy that obviously has great attitude. He wants to be wherever the Yankees put him because he just wants to be a team player. And I respect that. I respect that more than, all the bullshit that happened last year. Oswaldo Cabrera, they just sent him down for Bader. It's what it seems like. And, he should not get a starting job for the Yankees. He should be a backup if he ever gets to the big leagues again, which he will be. I saw comparisons to Ben Zobrist. I thought Ben Zobrist was a better player. He's a solid fielder. Solid is all I'll go to. Horrible plate discipline. If you watch the film on this guy, horrible plate discipline. 190 batting average. So, again, $300 million. How many million on the IL? How many million not performing? And we don't even have one solid outfielder. Now, I did recommend about a week ago the Yankees need to go out and sign Ramel Tapia. He's been hitting .333 in his last 7, .245 on the season, but at least you'll get an experienced outfielder who has speed on the base pass and has experience. They didn't do that. He went to the Brewers. So let's talk about the final mistake before the last notes and the offensive stats. I'm not going to sit here and criticize Anthony Volpe too much because, hey, listen, Austin Wells, not Dylan Lawson, Austin Wells made an adjustment in his swing as they were eating chicken parm and probably pasta bazool and all these other things, right? So Volpe, 189 on the season, 190 in the last 7. I will give him more time. But what the Yankees are failing at is trusting their youth in certain situations where right now they're trusting vets that cannot get the job done. And the funny thing is, these guys in the minors cost less, and you're not losing anything, right? Oswald Peraza, 11 home runs, 24 ribbies on the year, 292 batting average. Only got a total of 32 ABs in 2023. That's enough for the Yankees to say, you're a crap prospect. We're going to send you back down, right? So, Peraza, he's down there. He could be playing third base right now. Apparently, MILB says he's a third baseman. He could be replacing Donaldson for better defense and a little bit more off the bat other than 6 home runs out of 8 hits. So let's go to another flaw. We talked about the outfield just a few seconds ago. Estevan Florial. Now, I think the experiment is done, but let's take a look and see what the other teams are doing, right? What the other teams would do with Estevan Florial. This guy right now is absolutely raking in the minor leagues. 18 home runs, 44 ribbies, 304 batting average. He probably will get an all-star appearance in the minor league all-star game. I think it's called the International League all-star game, whatever. Wherever it's held, that's that. Other organizations in these situations would say, you know what, we got to call him up. He's raking, he's hitting, and this is a left-handed hitter, the type that fits Yankee Stadium, but the Yankees don't want that. And he's got an OPS over 1.026. But Brian Cashman and all the other guys in that front office would rather go with Billy McKinney and Oswaldo Cabrera and Jake Bauers and Willie Calhoun. Some guys that are not even proper outfielders. Florial gives you speed on the bases. He's clearly given power and also speed and defense in the outfield, something that the Yankees clearly don't have right now. Last notes before we go to offensive stats and just kick it out of here. 3/5 of the rotation is on the IL, Rodon, Montes, and Cortez. 2/3 of the outfield is on the injured list, Bader and Judge. Bader's about to come off. Bullpen is made of scraps. Let's go to the bullpen real quick because that's a great bullpen that Brian Cashman has put together. Jimmy Cordero, fun name to know. Greg Weissert, not going to get on too much. Nick Ramirez, pitched for Seattle like last year. Absolute bum. They waited a while to call Matt Crook up. Then they put him in a game that's an absolute blowout. Give him mop-up duty, and Justin Turner smacks a grand slam off of him. Then you have Albert Abreu, who is still on this team because Brian Cashman wants to be right. 3.27 ERA. You can't argue too much against it. But then again, he did give up the earned run in that game against the Mets where the Yankees lost. Domingo Germán, I mean, he hasn't been too terrible, but you would expect better. And again, some of our bullpen pitchers are on the IL expensively. Luis Trevino, Jonathan Loaizaga are two names to name. The Yankees will trust the kids, instead scrappy and crusty vets. That's exactly what I said. With Florio and Peraza, they'd rather go with Donaldson, they'd rather go with McKinney, they'd rather go with Bowers, they'd rather go with Calhoun. So finally, just to show you guys where the Yankees are in terms of stats offensively, because we know the Yankees are a poor hitting team. In terms of batting average, well, guess what? They rank 24th. In terms of strikeouts, let's see where they are. They're actually middle of the pack, 18th. So I won't harp on that too much. Hit-wise, well, guess what? They are 25th in hits. You guys like OPS? I know I don't, but they're 21st in OPS. And this is in the total big leagues. This is not just American League. This is total big leagues. Home runs, they're 5th. So that just tells you what type of offense they want to run. And runs, they're 14th. So mixture of everything you could possibly imagine. Mostly on the bad side, of course, because this is the New York Yankees. This is the type of operation they run. But that's it. That's all I got. Please, if you haven't already, go out and purchase our Fire Cashman, Fire Boone t-shirts. $19.99 with the promo code BBI and BR on the store. I'll probably leave it in the description or in the comments section pinned. We appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. I'll try to do some more Yankee content. Hopefully the Yankees can just clean it up. But appreciate you guys. See ya next time.